I hang out with a pretty trashy circle, the circle that helps this circle. It starts when we recycle trash at home. It's completed when we buy products made from recycled materials. Check the label for something called post-consumer recycled content. Then buy the highest percentage of it you can find. Complete the circle.
You wouldn't treat a crash test dummy like a child. So why treat a child like a crash test dummy? If they're under 4'9", they need a booster seat. Learn more at boosterseat.gov.
Disaster, an occurrence causing widespread destruction and distress, a catastrophe. Join me today here at Disasterville, where I'll try and weather the storm. As you first walk into Disasterville, that's all you'll see. There's holes in the walls. There's a log on a building. It makes you ask yourself, what could have possibly caused all these things? I think I'm about to find out the hard way. Whew, that hurricane really blew me away. Now things are really starting to heat up. What's great about Disasterville is it's hands-on. You can see a tornado grow from just a mere diagram to disaster. Welcome back to Eyes on Tampa Bay. I'm your host, Adam Stern, and you've just seen a little of Disasterville. Here's our first guest. We have Phil Saraniavan. He's a senior at University of South Florida, majoring in chemical engineering, and he's also manager of sales and promotion here at the Mosi. Thank you for coming here today, Phil. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
How did you get started here at the Mosi?
Well, as I grew up, I had an interest in math and science. And I really like what Mosi does for the community to try to educate people about math and science to make a difference in people's lives.
So you wanna help educate the youth a little bit?
Absolutely.
Now, what exactly is the Disasterville exhibit?
Disasterville is an exciting interactive exhibit designed to educate people and empower them to learn about natural disasters so that way they reduce their risk in a natural disaster were to happen, or as well as reduce themselves and prepare for them.
Now, when was Disasterville first opened?
Disasterville was opened on August 5th, 2006.
And what was the inspiration behind creating Disasterville?
With our partnership with the Institute of Business Home Safety, we both felt that the community and the state of Florida needed educating about natural disaster and safety and how to prepare for them, since we live in one of the most dangerous states in the United States.
Now, what are some of the natural disasters that the Mosi has chosen to focus on with Disasterville?
Well, we chose to focus on several floods, hail, tornadoes, volcanoes, earthquakes, hurricanes, and wildfire and lightning.
Well, in case somebody hasn't been to the Mosi or doesn't know what to expect, what would a visitor experience when they're walking through Disasterville?
Well, first you go through several immersion theaters which simulate the natural disasters in the areas of tornado, earthquake, and hurricanes, and it lets you feel sight, sound, and as well as motion.
What effect does being immersed in a simulation of the natural disaster, what can that do to educate the young people that come here?
Well, by being immersed in a simulation theater, you get to feel what the magnitude is like during a natural disaster and feel the reality of what's going on around you.
And can you tell us the importance of increasing awareness amongst the youth in America?
Absolutely. Awareness of natural disasters in order for the youth to understand and fully be able to help prepare for natural disasters, they must also know about it. And some simple things they could do to help their parents prepare for a natural disaster, such as getting for the hurricanes, getting furniture out of the lawn to make sure they don't become dangerous projectiles when a hurricane does happen, as well as for wildfires, raking leaves around the house so that way there's no immediate burning of flammables around the house.
And educating the youth would definitely help them in the future too, once they are responsible for helping with the disasters. Now, what's your favorite part of Disasterville?
Well, I have several actually. One of them is the hurricane tube.
The hurricane tube, as you saw in the opening, I was in the hurricane tube. That is very intense.
Yep, it's a nice blow dryer too as well.
Yeah, if you need to take a shower, you get dried off. Can you tell us a little bit about the Weather Quest with Bay News 9?
Weather Quest is a simulation area that's designed to be team-oriented and family-oriented too as well. It allows the guests to experience a simulated area, so you have the place of understanding what it's like to be an emergency operations center. You could play the role of a news anchor, you could play the role of a scientist, as well as a meteorologist, to know what it's like during natural disasters.
So the kids get a little behind-the-scenes look of what they're seeing on the news, how they're getting, how it's really done behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
Now, how long have you been working here at the Mosi?
I've been with Mosi for 7 years now.
And where did you get your start in Mosi? Where were you working first?
I started in IMAX, in the IMAX Dome Theater.
So they have an IMAX Dome Theater here?
We're actually Florida's only IMAX Dome Theater here.
Exclusive.
Exclusive.
I see. What kind of movies do they show here?
Well, we typically have 45-minute documentaries which talk about nature, space, as well as sciences, but we also have Hollywood films here as well.
What kind of Hollywood films have you shown here?
We've shown Happy Feet, we've shown Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, we're showing Night of the Museum.
You mentioned earlier a documentary about Louisiana in particular. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, that documentary was originally designed to be an education about conservation of wetlands, but what it turned into is understanding the culture behind the bayou and the rebuilding of the culture from Katrina.
Now, you interact with the kids a lot, you told me off camera. And how do you feel the kids react once they get to see Disasterville in person?
Well, the kids, when they see Disasterville, they begin to think and understand, and reality starts to educate them on how natural disaster is and what it is and how things they could do to prepare for them and as well as assist their families, so that way if a natural disaster were to occur, they can make sure to keep their family safe and possibly save a life.
Now, Mosi has a lot to offer besides just Disasterville and demystifying India. Well, thank you very much, Phil. We appreciate you coming here. I apologize for cutting this off short, but when we come back, we're going to have Kids in Charge package.
Tested for HIV. It's the first step in protecting yourself and those you care about. Get the test. Know your status. Call 1-800-342-AIDS.
There is really only one boy. One girl. One tree. One forest. One deep, dancing ocean. One mountain calling. One handful of sand through our fingers. One endless sky overhead. And one simple way to care for it all. Please visit earthshare.org and learn how the world's leading environmental groups are working together under one name, EarthShare. One environment, one simple way to care for it.
We have the privilege today of being able to watch a class on how to take flight.
The classrooms here at the Educational Center of Mosi are colorful and full of wonder for children of all ages. This classroom of preschool children learns the ins and outs of space exploration. These kids watch in amazement as they learn how fast rockets travel and even how to make mini rockets of their own. Classroom activities such as these teach children to work together with their classmates. Here, students get a hands-on experience that help them learn the class lessons in a fun and rewarding atmosphere. But there's more fun to be had outside the classroom. Come join me. The kids were nice enough to let me join in on their tug-of-war game. It doesn't matter who was the winner or the loser, because at the Mosi, everybody wins.
Welcome back to Eyes on Tampa Bay. You've just seen a little bit of the educational programs that Mosi has to offer, and we have our second guest here, Mr. Timothy Hill. He's actually a teacher here at the Mosi. Welcome,
Adam.
Tim. Thank you for coming. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
How did you get started at the Mosi?
Well, I've been at Mosi for about 8 years, and it actually started off having friends at USF. It was my first semester at USF, finishing up my degree in education, and I met some guys who were into science fiction and fantasy, doing some clubs and groups with that. And one of the guys in my science fiction group, his name was Chris McGinnis, and I'll give him credit because he's the reason why I'm here. And he begged me to come apply for a job. I started off as a demonstrator, or an interactor as they're called now, being on the floor and doing simple demonstrations, 15-minute demonstrations for general guests. I moved up once I got my degree to a full-time presenter in our ScienceWorks Theater, where we do all kinds of shows about space and health and things. And I eventually just kept at it, kept begging my supervisors to give me more responsibilities. Eventually became the academic manager here and have been a full-time manager of academic programs for about 5 years.
That's fantastic. I've actually seen you at work, and you do a great job with the kids.
Thank you. It's an easy job. It's fun. We get to do some of the most amazing things. Like I said, my degree's in education, and I actually did some work in the public school system, and I love teaching. But I like the flexibility that Mosi gives me to do some wacky, crazy things, lets me explore my love for science and education.
Well, what kind of wacky, crazy things are we talking about?
Well, this morning, on my way here, I did a show about space for some kids that were from all over the country, from New York. Last night I did the same show for a group from Puerto Rico. And we do experiments about rockets and rocket fuel. So some of the things that I can do here at Mosi that I wouldn't be able to do in a classroom per se is I create hydrogen balloons and we explode those in our labs. We create giant rockets to show how rocket fuel combustion works, and So I can actually blow things up, freeze things using cryogenics and things that might be a little bit hazardous for the classroom, but in a working lab can really benefit students' learning.
And the kids definitely love it. I mean, they go crazy.
They
for
sure
it.
do. I mean, anytime you can blow things up, freeze things, launch rockets, they really get into it, and it helps me promote my love for science.
Okay. What kind of other classes do you have available besides the space exploration?
It's kind of neat. When I very first started, I was amazed how many different types of classes we have. So I'll start off with who we offer these programs to, I guess would be the best way to begin. We have programs for the general public, so people can just come right off on the street. They come into Mosi, they can get a catalog of classes that we can offer for them, ranging everything from fossil digs to cave trips, where we actually take them to fossil digs. They can find fossils found here in Florida. We do tours through caves, which is amazing. Most people don't realize that we do have cave structures here in Central and in Northern Florida, and we offer programs for wilderness classes where students and parents can go out and learn about wetlands environments and what precious plants and animals that we have here in Florida. We also have programs for school groups, and that was where my very first experience here at Mosi came with teaching those school groups. They come in groups and they can visit the museum, check out our IMAX theater, our planetarium, and then they do programs with me, and those range from anywhere from age 2 to seniors in high school. We offer teacher training for teachers. They can come and I can teach them a little bit about the ease of teaching science in a classroom. And then we offer homeschool programs, which has been growing and growing since my time here at Mosi.
What exactly are the homeschool programs?
We offer monthly homeschool programs called Science Adventure Days, and this is sort of a precursor to lab programs. We get the kids introduced to science, the scientific method. We give them some basic scientific information. We give them materials that they might not be able to get at home. We offer science labs for our homeschool programs for middle schoolers and high schoolers so they can get credit for biology, chemistry. I'm currently teaching the physical science middle school classes, and these are credits that the homeschoolers need to actually get a high school degree.
So you actually go to their home and teach them?
Actually, they come here.
Oh, they come here?
We want to give them the lab experience, so they come. We have a couple of wet labs that we use, so they actually get a lab experience, the same kind of lab experiences kids get in high school or in college. They can get here at Mosi and get credit for it.
Oh, that's extremely important.
Sure, and then of course parents and family programs. I mean, just tons of different programs. Would take us the whole time to name them all, but needless to say, whatever your need is, you can generally find it here at Mosi.
And why do you feel it's important for the kids to learn about these things?
Okay, well, a few years ago I took a very special class called ABCs of Science, and it was geared towards teaching younger children science, and it actually, they didn't teach this, but it kind of came to me as I was taking this class that the same things they were teaching me, how to teach science to younger children, are the same, very similar steps to how I was taught to teach students in the public school system. So the steps that we use to teach science are the exact same steps that students use to learn anything. So if we can teach them to love science, and we can teach them to love technology, and we show them the steps to master these, if they can apply those steps to anything, English, foreign languages, how to play video games, we're actually teaching them how to learn, not necessarily how to use science. And of course, with science and technology and math being so much more important as time goes on, I mean, we're a technology society right now. We're teaching them to be able to manipulate this science and this technology. They're going to be better off. They're going to get better paying jobs, and they're going to find work. They're going to find work in the workplace when they get older.
Exactly. Now, this is the most important question, I feel.
Okay.
What is your favorite exhibit here at the Mosi?
Well, I have a lot. My very first show that I ever got to do here at Mosi and be a part of was a show about lightning and electricity, and that's really important here in Central Florida because we get more lightning here than anywhere else in North America. And at one time when I very first started at Mosi, we had this giant Tesla coil that shot these electric sparks out. And it was really neat because it was just beautiful. It was a Tesla coil. And for years, as we have been moving exhibits from the old part of Mosi to the newer buildings, we didn't have that Tesla coil. Now they have reinvented this exhibit where you can actually put your hands through this metal mesh, cause this Tesla coil to explode. These giant electric bolts will come out and hit that metal glove that's on your hand. So it's completely amazing. That is my very favorite exhibit.
I actually got to take a look at that, and it was a lot of fun.
It is pretty loud, big bada boom, bright. Kids love it.
All right, well, thank you very much, Tim. I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
You were a fantastic guest.
Oh, thanks.
When we come back, you'll get to see a little bit of what Mosi has to offer, a little bit more.
Thanks. Aren't they supposed to say, cut?
I hang out with a pretty trashy circle, the circle that helps this circle. It starts when we recycle trash at home. It's completed when we buy products made from recycled materials. Check the label for something called post-consumer recycled content. Then buy the highest percentage of it you can find. Complete the circle.
AIDS has killed nearly 6 million children worldwide. That's more than every child in every preschool, grade school, and high school in New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Washington, Atlanta, and Miami combined. The time to do something is now. The place is apathyisLethal.org.
You might think it impossible that the Mosi has more to offer, but we're just getting started. Impossible? Not anymore. As you stand by me. Fields to meals. Sounds delicious. This is the Mr. Twister. This is what a tornado would really like. Are you ready for surgery? Sorry, hospital personnel only. This young Mosi visitor is about to get the ride of his life.
I could get used to this.
Get tested for HIV. It's the first step in protecting yourself and those you care about. Get the test. Know your status. Call 1-800-342-AIDS.
Hello. Yes. Can I ask a few questions about the apartment on Park Street?
What was your name?
My name is Juan Hernandez.
It's been rented.
Oh, it's gone. Hello, my name is Sanjay Kumar. I am calling about the apartment on Park Street.
It's not available.
Not available? Hello, my name is Tyrone Washington. I'm calling about the apartment on Park Street.
Just been rented.
Hello, I am Chen Ling. My name is Khalid bin Ali. I'm Tuan Vo. Hello, my name is Moshe Goldberg. I use a wheelchair. It's gone. Not available. All right. Thank you. Yes, hello, my name is Graham Wellington. I'm calling about the apartment for rent on Park Street. Is that still available?
Yes, it is.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Really?
Housing discrimination is illegal. If you think you've been a victim because of your race, color, national origin, sex, religion, disability, or family status, call us. Fair. It's the law.
Welcome back to Eyes on Tampa Bay. We'd like to thank everybody here at the Mosi, especially Shani Jefferson, Tim Hill, and Phil Saranivan. Thank you very much for tuning in. We appreciate your time, and we'll see you next week.